As a senior, when I imagined applying to college, I imagined it as a race to fill up a limited amount of seats based on everything someone has done and is as a person. Volunteered at a hospital, plus 10. Good SAT or ACT score, plus 15. Played the piano, plus 15. Most students would agree that accepting an applicant based on these factors is a reasonable way to settle on who should get a spot. But there is one factor of the admissions process that is worth talking about. When dealing with the college admissions process in America, the number one controversial thing is whether or not race should be considered as a factor when accepting a student applicant. Race-conscious preferential admissions have been widely practiced by selective colleges and universities to enhance minority representation in higher education. One end of the debate is college admissions requirements should be based solely on academic merit and should have nothing to do with racial qualifications. The other end of the debate are those who support racial considerations due to the belief that a racially diverse student population can help prepare students to handle situations where people come from a variety of different backgrounds, ethnicities, social or financial status, and more. I believe that universities should not consider race, ethnicity, gender, or economic status when accepting student applicants, and should accept their students solely based on academic and extracurricular metrics. Specifically for Asian Americans, there are much higher expectations and standards that they are held to, not just in college admissions, but also society in general. It's not fair that Asian Americans, or any race, shouldn't get an equal chance just because of their ethnic background. The first major point that I will be talking about is affirmative action. The proper definition of affirmative action is an active effort to improve the employment or educational opportunities of members of minority groups. You may think that this would be good for minorities, right? Well, for Asian Americans, it actually hurts their chances into getting into a high-end university. According to data from two Princeton sociologists, Thomas Eppenshade and Alexandra Radford, it is implied that a black student who scores a 1,000 on their SATs would have an equal chance of admission as a white student who scores a 1310 or an Asian American student who scores a 1450. Society says everybody is equal, but you have to score 450 points higher in order to be considered as an equal. Is that some kind of joke? My next major point is about the multiple Harvard admissions lawsuits and how they allegedly used racial quotas when accepting a student into their school. There have been a variety of claims that Harvard discriminates against Asian applicants by holding them to a higher academic standard while rating them poorly on personal characteristics in order to artificially suppress their rate of admission. According to the Washington Post, Asian Americans would comprise of 43% of the student body if it were solely based on academics. There's a glaring disparity given the fact that Asians are the fastest growing racial group, yet have such a disproportional representation in the United States. And that's the difference between Asians and other minorities. For a social group that is no stranger to discrimination, it seems unjust that this demographic has to work twice as hard to go half as far. My final point of this essay is how Asian Americans are treated compared to different races within the college admissions process. Asian Americans have developed a conviction that the road to admission at the nation's top colleges is significantly harder if the applicant identifies as Asian American. In similarity to my example of affirmative action, a 2009 study by the National Study of College Experience shows that an Asian applicant must score 140 points higher than white applicants, 320 points higher than Hispanic applicants, and 450 points higher than black applicants on the SAT to be viewed in an equal light. Due to affirmative action policies, fewer minorities enter careers in STEM fields. This is not due to a lack of minority students, but admitting students with lower SAT math scores or high school grades into schools with elite math and science programs is a recipe for disaster. Students should be encouraged to apply to institutions where their credentials are met with those of their fellow students. Academic-based admissions are a win-win situation for everyone. Students will attend institutions where they are more likely to graduate and in the field of study they actually want to pursue. Why does this matter today? This is an issue that is still apparent within the college admissions process. It is relevant to us seniors because we have gone through this. We've seen this firsthand and know that it is important to have equal opportunity. When we took the SAT or ACT, it asked us to provide us with our race, but the color of our skin should not matter when it comes to intelligence. At the end of the day, you have to think to yourself, would you rather want the neurosurgeon who is about to operate on your child's brain to be the one who got a 4.7 GPA and a perfect MCAT score, or the one who scored 450 points lower, but got in only because of the pigmentation of their skin? The corrupted process hurts America as a whole. In the future, we want our doctors to be the best of the best. It shouldn't matter what color you are. Quality matters. May the best man or woman win, not by color or creed.